This Crown Automotive Dana 44 rear axle shaft is for those of you that have a 2007 to 2018 JK that is not a Rubicon, that is looking for a stronger than factory, but factory style replacement axle shaft for your Jeep. If you've broken an axle shaft or you're just looking for a little bit of an upgrade that is going to be a little bit stronger, this is going to be an excellent choice for you. I'm going to give this installation a 2 out of 3 wrenches. It's still going to be very, very simple to do, but there is a little bit of disassembly and some reassembly of your Jeep involved in getting this bolted into place. And if you're not comfortable with that amount of teardown, I'd probably recommend sending your Jeep to a shop for this installation, but we are going to show you how to do this in just a second. Now, I already mentioned that this is going to be a little bit stronger than factory, and that's the main reason that somebody's going to swap out an axle shaft. Either you're doing some preventative maintenance and you want to make sure that you're not going to break an axle shaft, if you are doing some off-roading and you have some bigger tires on your Jeep, or maybe you've already broken a shaft and you're looking to replace but also to upgrade. I like this option because it comes with everything on it. You're not pressing in studs, you're not trying to press on seals, you're not looking to press on and off the ring for the wheel speed sensors. All that stuff is going to be included, making this a very, very simple and very complete option for you. Now, the reason that this is not for the Rubicon is that it has a slightly different length axle shaft, and it's also going to be a 32 spline as opposed to this 30 spline. So that's important to note. If you have a Rubicon, you're going to want to look at one of the other options for replacement axle shaft. But if you have a Sport, if you have a Sahara, they're all going to have the same Dana 44 rear axle, and these are going to work just fine in there. Now, I'd mentioned that this is going to be a little bit stronger than factory. This uses a 40-43 steel alloy, and the number is really just the different types of metal that are mixed in to make that steel, and there are all kinds of varying degrees. This, again, is going to be a little bit stronger than factory. Now, it's not going to be as though you're upgrading the spline count, which is going to be something that will make the shaft a lot stronger. You're also not going with a full chromoly shaft or something that has one of those alloys that has even additional strength. But this is still going to be a step up and still going to be an upgrade. And it's going to do all of that, what I think is going to be a pretty good deal for you. This comes in at right around that $230 mark for something that includes, like I said, the studs, the seals, pretty much everything that you need here. You can really just unbolt your old one, pop this one into place. This is going to be a pretty good deal for you. So let's go ahead and show you how to get this installed.
Tools used for this installation are as follows: a 18mm wrench or ratchet wrench, a dead blow hammer, a small ratchet with a 8mm socket, a small pry tool, and a set of cutters, and a slide hammer. Now let's get started with our installation. As you can see, we already have our vehicle in the air and supported. You can do this down on the ground or on the trail or in your driveway with a floor jack. Just make sure that you properly support your vehicle and do it safely. We have our wheel and tire off already because, well, we need to gain access into there. Getting your wheel and tire off is pretty self-explanatory. To begin, we're gonna remove our brake caliper and our rotor, but we're gonna take the caliper off with the bracket and all. We're gonna hang it off to the side. We're not gonna disconnect our line, so we don't need to bleed our brakes. We're gonna pop our rotor off. There's a few clips that hold our rotor onto the studs from factory. We're gonna go ahead and get them removed too. Then we'll go ahead and get our axle unbolted and slid out. As you can see here, I have a pull jack under my axle. Now I did that for good reason. That way it keeps the fluid to the other side. This way, once I pull the axle out, none of it leaks out. I don't have to replace any fluid. Now let's go ahead and get started. All right, now with an 18mm wrench, we're gonna go ahead and get these bolts removed that secure our caliper and bracket to our axle assembly. Now, you can get a ratchet back there with a socket, but it is a very tight fit. So I'm gonna go ahead and use a 18mm ratchet wrench. I love these things. If you don't have them, I highly suggest getting a set. Okay, we're gonna go back here. All right, we can go ahead and get our caliper and bracket slid off. Now we're gonna hang that out of the way so it doesn't get damaged. You can use a bungee cord or a string or a rope, whatever you have. I happen to have an actual caliper hook, so I'm gonna hook that through there and just hang it up. Now it's out of the way, it won't get damaged, your brake line won't get pulled on, so we can go ahead and get the rest of this unit apart and slide our axle out. All right, now a little trick to get the clips off of our rotor so we can slide a rotor out is I like to take like a rubber mallet or a dead blow hammer and just tap the back of your rotor. And what it'll do is it'll pop these little clips to face out. Then you can go in there with a pair of cutters and pop them off. Unfortunately, these are very hard to save. They're on there from factory to hold your rotor tight up against your axle. But once you get your axle swapped out and you get your wheel back on, your wheel will hold this nice and tight, and your brake caliper is going to hold it nice and tight anyway. So let's get these removed. Pair of cutters, go ahead and just pop them off. And now we can go ahead and just slide our rotor off. Now when pulling your rotor off, you might feel a little resistance like we just did. That is because your parking brake is built in behind your rotor. It uses the inside of your rotor as a brake drum style parking brake. All right, next we gotta remove our ABS sensor. So what we're gonna do is go ahead and just unplug it. There we go. Get it unplugged. A little dirt in there. And with the 8mm socket, I'm just gonna go ahead and pull the sensor out. With that same 18mm wrench, go ahead and remove the 4 nuts that secure your axle in. Now this would be the only kind of specialty tool that you'll need, and if you don't have one, you can rent one from the local parts store, but if you're gonna be out on the trail doing some heavy wheeling to the point that, well, you just might break an axle shaft, I suggest buying one because it will come in handy. It is called a axle puller or a slide hammer kit. What we're gonna do is go ahead and bolt the bracket down over the lugs and use our lug nuts to hold it in place. All right, now with our bracket on, you wanna make sure you get that on as straight as possible. We're gonna go ahead and put our slap hammer into it. You just screw it in to the threaded area. Now you wanna get this screwed in as far as you can. Now, the key is hold good firm grip on the end of it, making sure to keep your hand out of the way of the hammer itself and just pull back on it with all your strength. And there you go. We got our axle out of place. You can go ahead and just pop this back off. And just carefully slide your axle out. And there's your old axle. Yours will probably be broken. This one's actually in fairly decent condition. But we can go ahead and get this changed out to our new axle. Now, if your Jeep was still equipped with the original OE axle that was in it, you're gonna go ahead and slide out the factory bearing race that's gonna be sitting right here in the end of your axle tube. Because you'll no longer need that piece. Our new axle has everything built into it. All right, now we're ready to go ahead and slide our new axle into place. Now you don't want to just go jamming this in. You can destroy your inner bearings on your carrier. So you want to just take your time and make sure you feel around that it's engaged when sliding it in. And it goes in the exact opposite that your old one came out. Just feel around. There you have it. Now we'll just go ahead and get our hardware reinstalled, get it nice and snug down, get our rotor back on, our caliper back on, and our wheel back on, and we'll continue trailing. And using the same 18 millimeter that we used to take it apart, just go ahead and put it back together with your factory hardware. Now we can go ahead and get our ABS sensor back in place. And don't forget to plug it back in. All right, now we're ready to go ahead and get our rotor and caliper back on. Just simple. Slide it right over the new studs. Seat it all the way down. Grab your caliper. And slide it right back over. Reinstall your hardware and tighten it down. Now with a few simple tools, you can do this job right on the side of the trail, side of the road, in your driveway, in your garage, anywhere that is handy for you. The Crown Automotive axle is great because it is a single unit with your bearings and your keeper plate and your seal all built into one. Now I hope you enjoyed this video and it shows you just how easy it is to do that job. And for more parts and videos like these, make sure you visit us at ExtremeTerrain.com.